We're coming upon Denio Creek, a tributary of the Paluxy River. And I can already tell this is going to be a gold mine of understanding. Why? Because it's a gold mine of evidence. Evidence that the geologists don't want you to look at. What's the first thing we see? Look at this line. La-da-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Somehow nature did that. Wait, this is horizontal material, so why is there a vertical face? Why is there a vertical face in this horizontal material? Oh, it just could have happened. I mean, you know, you never know. What's the vertical face doing there? Huh. So that's the first thing we see. Is this regular line. And that meets, so these are section seams, okay? Not cracks or fractures. These are seams. Joining material together. Geologists want you to believe that this is a fracture. Okay? They want you to believe that this material is fracturing apart at this joint. Every joint is a fracture to a geologist, okay? Which is bizarre in itself, since no joint can be a fracture, and no fracture can be a joint. So, they're saying this is breaking apart, it's fracturing. Well, it's not, though. All you have to do is look at it to see that it's joining this material together. And here, when it changes levels, we see how integral it is. There's no sense that this is breaking apart. Now these seams have a little bit more play in them. We could call these open seams. So these sections are starting to come out from this triangular area. The ancients used triangular sectioning oftentimes. There's a rather triangular block right there. They used asymmetrical sectioning. So we have diagonal construction, bizarre shapes, very few squares, very few rectangles. Here's a rectangular type shape, but it's more narrow on the left. From above, it gets more narrow on the left. See, it's not perfectly rectangular. So they weren't using the standard right angle building blocks that we do. That's why we didn't see the building. Here's a section break. It's not a fracture though, it's just a place where they stopped their construction. They put this section here. It was horizontal. It's sliding down a little bit. This one's sliding down a little bit. That one's sliding down a little bit. They were horizontal. See the vertical section break or the section face? See that? The geologists don't want you to look at that. They don't want you to look at the regular vertical lines between these sections, because then that tells you that this is building. Because there's no way for nature to make vertical lines between its sections. Nothing could be more obvious than that this is building. Nothing. It's obviously building. Asymmetrical sectioning. Different sizes and different shapes of building blocks makes for strong building in an earthquake. Right? Same sized and same shaped building blocks like we use, bricks primarily, or concrete blocks all the same size and shape, makes for really weak building. They built strong. They knew what they were doing. Terra was not the true ancients' first rodeo. It's probably one of the very last planets that they've built. They knew what they were doing. We are deep inside the true ancients' terrain. The ancient crystalline concrete material that advanced races, advanced engineers, and skilled artists placed here. They built this creek course, okay? They built this water course, and this water goes down into the Paluxy River, just about 100 yards from here. Now, I don't want to shock anyone, but what's this doing here? Why is this vertical like this? I mean, it's a section, right? We see this texturing on the top. Deep gouging, texturing, okay? Not due to erosion. And then we see this non-gouged, rather regular, rather smooth. See the smoothness compared to the roughness here, right? There's a comparison. Smooth, rough. So why is this smoother than this when this is supposed to be a crack or a fracture in sedimentary, that is horizontally laid material? Well, why is this smooth if this is supposed to have cracked? Right? Geologists have no answer for that. They don't have an answer for why there's vertical line demarcating the end of this section and another vertical line demarcating the end of this section, right? So, right? They don't have any answer for that. This is supposed to be a crack. This is supposed to be a crack. Okay, well, it is not perfectly regular, but it is smoother than the top. Smoother. Quite smooth, quite pleasant. And this is very rough. There's no comparison. This is rough. This is smooth. This should not be smooth if the geology theory is correct. Therefore, we know that the geology theory is incorrect. I hope I'm making myself clear. So, why is it rough on the top? Because the true ancients built generally with alternating hard and soft layers. So they put a soft layer here for earthquake mitigation, and the soft layer would stick to this rough top, right? But shouldn't they also have a rough side in an earthquake to rub against the next rough side of the section to the left, where it used to be? Well, yes, and there is some roughness to it, because it's not a perfectly straight line, first of all. So a non-perfectly straight line gives you good friction in an earthquake with the section next to it, right? If it's rubbing back and forth, the non-straight line works. So they have a non-straight line, but it is smoother, interestingly, than this. So this side of this section falsifies the geology theory. Just this side of this one block, okay? But there's tons of evidence that falsifies the geology theory everywhere you look, and we're going to go look at some of that right now. We're going to look at this hillside and see how the true ancients built it, okay? This is not a natural feature. These are building blocks. But this is horizontally laid limestone. Why is there a vertical side and a regular face to that section, right? Why is there a vertical side and a regular face to this section? What's that vertical side doing there on the right of that section? What's this vertical side doing? It's a vertical seam between two sections of crystalline concrete. That's what that is, okay? I want to be really clear. Oh, and here's a nice 45-degree angle line right here. See it? See the line? We'll just document it, okay? Right there. Boom. See the 45-degree angle line? 45 degrees was the primary angle of construction for the true ancients who built the continents. Here's another diagonal line. There's two diagonals right next to each other. And we've got the 45-degree angle construction with this section as well. See the pointer across the creek? Those are two 45-degree angle lines. Let's concentrate again on the vertical faces. What are vertical faces doing in sedimentary material? Geologists? Oh, it just happened that way. Really? So you're just gonna throw up your arms and just say, well, it just happened. Whereas the terraforming theory explains the evidence. These are sections laid down left to right with seams between them. Vertical seams joining the sections. These are not cracks breaking them apart. This is not material that's breaking apart. This is material that's being joined by vertical seams. And the faces as the material comes out over millions or billions of years, the faces are regular vertical faces. See the vertical faces? This is supposed to be horizontally laid sedimentary material. Nature has no mechanism to make vertical faces in sedimentary material. Now, geologists would say this is absolutely 100% sedimentary limestone. Why is there a vertical face? We're just going to go real slow, okay? Nice and slow. The geologists won't watch this video, so it doesn't matter how fast or slow I go. They don't care. They have their theory, their fantasy, their fairy tale, their nonsense. What's this vertical line, this vertical face, doing in sedimentary material? We'll just keep going, nice and slow. For the geologists who will never see this video, they've got their teaching positions. They don't need to change their minds. They're secure, their families are fed with the fairy tale of geology. See the vertical section faces? Interesting, right? Vertical, vertical, vertical. And this layer too, just below it, we'll pull back so you can see, just below this layer is this layer. Vertical. I wonder how a vertical face occurs in sedimentary material. The geologists don't care. Vertical faces. Vertical faces. So, what can we conclude? We can conclude that these are sections of crystalline concrete joined by vertical seams. Okay? That's what we conclude. Let's go all the way around. See the vertical faces? Wherever we look, vertical faces. These have no place in sedimentary material. Oh look, and some more vertical faces. Oh look, some more vertical faces. Right? Oh look, some more vertical faces. Oh look, some more vertical faces. All we see is vertical faces. So the evidence tells us that this is building. See the building blocks? See the building blocks? We've all been mind controlled since day one. Let's get a photo. See the regular but not perfectly smooth, not perfectly regular sides? It's good for earthquake mitigation because there's some angles along their line here. It's not a perfectly straight line. So this is really good in earthquake mitigation because these will rub against the section next to it on the left. So obviously this section came out of the hillside. Why did it come out? Because the soft earthquake mitigating layer below it was eroded by rainwater, creating soil, but eventually the section above the soft earthquake mitigating layer, all the sections come out. You can see the regular quality to the sides, okay? Really good from earthquake mitigation, because even though it's regular, it's not perfectly straight and not perfectly flat. All this is real good for earthquake mitigation. But the primary idea is that these regular vertical faces could not have come into existence in sedimentary material. We would have seen fracturing, jagged fracturing. Instead we see regular faces. See the asymmetrical sectioning? This piece is much differently shaped and different sized than any other piece we've seen. That's really good for earthquake mitigation. All these pieces are different. Every single one is unique. just like in the Bosnian Pyramid Complex. No two stones are the same. Go find my article by that name. Who would think that there would be a vertical line in sedimentary material? Oh, well, the reason we don't think that is because we believe the theory of geology. There's no reason for a vertical line in sedimentary material. The reason there are vertical lines throughout the building, see the vertical face? The reason that exists is because this is building. The evidence in front of our faces everywhere supports the continental terraforming theory. The evidence does not support the theory of geology. It falsifies the theory of geology. We're looking at evidence. What is the evidence? Vertical faced material. It's a block that's about 35 feet wide. much bigger than anything that we would ever work with as far as a section of concrete, right? Look at the vertical side. That's impossible in sedimentary material. Impossible. That's how we know it's artifice. Okay? These massive sections of ancient concrete are falling about 55 or 60 feet, and most of them stay strong. No cracking, they're just so integral, so strong, right? There's a little crack in this one. See that little crack there? Basically it's still strong though. That one is still strong. Most of these don't have cracks in them, even though they're falling that far. Imagine. Really strong material. Now I want you to imagine looking at this chaotic creek bed strewn with sections of crystalline continental concrete. I want you to imagine just how much time has passed since this creek bed and the hills on either side of it were built. How much time? Oh my gosh, fossils. Must be natural. Well, it turns out the continental terraforming theory allows for fossils in the material. Why? The builders of the continents used calcium carbonate, which is what hard-shelled fossils are made of. Usually about 90% of a shell is calcium carbonate. They use that material in their concrete. So they chucked fossils in. As life forms began to appear on Earth, they chucked fossils into it to make it at least as hard or harder than it was. Okay? The building of the continents was a many-stage process. The Bosnian Pyramid Complex is a late-stage terraforming project. The true ancients who built the continents continually revise and repair their continental features. So, although they built the continents largely before life appeared on the planet, on Terra, when life did appear and hard-shelled organisms appeared, they used those as material for their concrete. Calcium carbonate is an excellent material in concrete. In 3D printing, we're already using calcium carbonate powder as a binder. Calcium carbonate is a glue. That's why organisms take it from seawater and use it for their shells. So when we find fossils in the material, they were chucked in by the true ancients who were laying down concrete. So I want to be clear that fossils found in the terrain's material does not falsify the continental terraforming theory. Hard calcium carbonate fossil shells were used by the true ancients who built the continents as part of their building process. They chucked these shells into the concrete to harden the surface of their sections. Calcium carbonate is extremely hard. It's a really good hard glued material. It glues to itself and becomes very strong. That's why the organisms use it. Let's continue the search for the truth about Terra's mysterious past and about the mysterious past of Homo sapiens sapiens itself. This is Jock Doubleday reporting from Denio Creek, a small tributary of the Biloxi River up in northern Texas. I hope everyone has a scientific day. The controllers don't want you to know the planet was built. If you discover that Terra was built, then you'll go looking for the builders. And they don't want you to do that. They want you to stay right here in their slave matrix. So I hope you can join me in exiting the matrix today. It's a lot of fun to set the fairy tales of the university aside, the Rockefeller and Rothschild controlled universities. Again, as always, I hope you have a scientific day, and I hope we can get to the bottom of all of the mysteries here on Terra and in Terra.